All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today at the Juneau Early Learning Fair. My name is Ryan Caha, and I'm so excited to welcome you today. So my name is Ryan Caha. I'm the Family Services Manager at Thread, and I've got two amazing partners here with me that will be sharing about all the different services that we have across Alaska to support families. So I want to introduce my colleague, Christy.
Hi, I'm Christy Davis. I am the Child Care Assistance Director, or you may have heard me called the local administrator. I am in the Fairbanks office and we service the Juneau area. And we have Hannah with us.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Hannah Weed. I am located in Juneau. I work for Thread through the AEYC Southeast office. So if you are in Juneau, you would be calling our office to say hello, or if we eventually do get back to face-to-face events, you'll be physically seeing my face or one of the coworkers in our office's faces.
Awesome. Well, we're so excited for you to join us today and just hear some more about our services. So as you noticed, myself, Christy, and Hannah are all across the state. I'm actually in Anchorage. As Christy said, she's in Fairbanks, and Hannah is one of your neighbors here in Juneau. And so our services are offered statewide. So we support families, early educators, and communities. So we support families through our free and confidential resource and referral support for families to find licensed childcare. We offer tools and resources to families, and then also parenting information. And we support early educators through training, technical assistance, and then financial supports, which have been super critical throughout the last year, especially with all the changes due to COVID. And then we also support communities with consultations, presentations, and providing different research and data as they try and find the benefits of really having licensed childcare within each of their communities. We all know, even as parents ourselves, how important childcare is. And so Thread all across the state does a really great job to advocate for high quality care and then helping communities understand the importance of that. So we are all over the state. We have offices in Anchorage with 2 sub-offices in Wasilla and Kenai. We have our Fairbanks office, which is called Thrive Alaska, and then our Juneau office, which Hannah talked about, which is SEA EYC. And so as she mentioned, you get locally the AYC Southeast office is the office that you'll be connecting with. So if there's any time whenever we finally are able to be in person that you have to drop off paperwork or just have questions about childcare, they're going to be the local neighborhood office that you can connect with. And even as Hannah said, if you have questions, you can call them. We have a huge statewide network of professionals in every department that you guys can connect with as well. So one of our big supports for families is our resource and referral line. So we offer free and confidential services to families to help them find licensed childcare all across the state. So we make sure we really emphasize finding quality care, or care that's high quality, that it's safe, and it aligns with what you want for your children. So as a parent myself, I know my baby girl the best, and I'm going to use my voice to advocate for her to say, this is what I hope to find in childcare. And we hear families all day, every day, talking about, this is what I want to have in my childcare. And so we have an online search tool that is easy to use on our Thread website that you can put in your information, your address or your work address, and put in all the different specifics that you're looking for. Maybe you want something within 10 miles away of your work, or that you're looking for a center versus a family childcare home. So you can put in those requests and it'll generate a list of childcare facilities within your area. And all those facilities are licensed. If you're finding that the online search tool isn't meeting the needs, we also do have a toll-free number that you can call, and you'll be connected with one of our early childhood specialists. And our early childhood specialists are across all over the state, and they're absolutely wonderful. They have a wealth of knowledge and education about early childhood development and education, and really just like what is the best fit for your family within childcare. So in that conversation with the early childhood specialist, they'll ask you some questions just about you as a parent and your family and the needs that you're looking for within childcare. And then they'll also pull a list of childcare programs that meet those needs for you. And if you've never looked for childcare before, there's lots of resources that the early childhood specialist will provide for you about questions you can ask a childcare provider, what to look for in each of the childcare facilities. How do I know it's safe? I'm really interested in a bilingual program. How do I know that they're actually teaching my child bilingual education? So there's lots of different things that the resources that we provide for you offer so that you can find just the best fit for you and your family within childcare. And we also offer translation services. We have one of our early childhood specialists, Wendy Howard. She is a bilingual early childhood specialist, so she speaks Spanish, which is an amazing attribute to our team. And we also do have a translation service. So if English isn't your first language, don't worry, we do have a way to be able to connect, to have somebody support you in finding childcare. So another thing that we offer with our statewide network is a monthly parenting event that is held from October through June called Parent Talk. This is a really fun event for families all over the state to join in. It's from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. on the second Thursday of each month. And we have professionals from all over the state come and speak about a topic. So our next Parent Talk is on April 8th, and the topic is Playing Outside is Learning Outside. So we have somebody coming from the Department of Fish and Game to talk about how you can find really teachable moments even outside, all the different ways that you can use outside as learning opportunities, especially with the warmer weather coming up. I know we're all experiencing more daylight every single day. We're all getting ready to play outside even more. So this will be a really fun event for families to participate in. We've also got one in May called Supporting Your Picky Eater. So we have somebody coming in from the Department of Health and Human Services discussing how to help your kids who are showing those picky signs, you know, like, I don't like green foods, I don't like broccoli. I know that's my little one right now. Broccoli is not her favorite thing. And so I'm really excited for this session to learn some of those tricks around picky food. And we're still waiting for our topic in June, but this is a really awesome event. If you're interested in participating, you can go to our Thread website and register there. It's a free event, and there's a great way to connect with lots of other families in the area. We also do have a YouTube channel as well. So if you're interested in watching recordings from our old sessions throughout the year, those are on our YouTube site. So some really awesome events coming up within your area in Juneau. So the Bartlett Hospital has parenting classes that are coming up. They are reoccurring, and so they're also virtual right now. So if you have questions or are interested in registering for those, you can connect with Sarah Gress. Her email is on the screen, and she would be a great resource to either get you signed up or answer any questions about those parenting classes. There's also a session of Circle of Security parenting class that's coming up in April 7th through May 26th, and that's being hosted by Rock Juneau. This is an awesome, awesome program. I love Circle of Security. It's just an amazing support as a parent and as somebody who cares for children in general. It's really helpful in learning about behaviors and just like what kids are looking for when there's bigger emotions and how they need support from caring adults. So it's a great session to connect with, and Emily Thompson is somebody that you can also ask those questions to. And then the last story path is happening April 2nd through 4th on the Rainforest Trail, and this one is titled Raven and the Tide Lady. So this is the last one for the season, so if you're interested in that, please feel free to connect with the Juneau Parks and Recs department, and they'll be able to give you more information on that. So at this time, I'm going to turn over to Christy to share about childcare assistance.
Okay, if you want to go on to the next slide. Like I said, we are in Fairbanks. We receive your applications here in our office, whether you send them to us or you send them to Hannah and she forwards them to us. We screen your application, we do your interview by phone, and you can send us all of your documentation by email, fax. We have people who take pictures of things and send them to us through email off of their phone. And some things like your ID, that's actually the best way for us to receive it, because if those are faxed, they get very dark and we can't read them, then we have to ask for another one. So in Alaska, we do have different regions. We fall under the state of Alaska. We are not state employees, we're a grantee, but we follow the state of Alaska regulations. All of our forms, the application and everything can be found on the state of Alaska website. There's information about the different pass levels, and I'm going to talk about that. But on the previous screen, it shows Alaska Inn. That is an additional service that's available for people who have children with disabilities or behavioral issues. Occasionally we get a family that the child is getting kicked out of childcare after childcare, and there's something going on there. The Resource and Referral can do screenings with that child in the center. If they qualify, then they can get Alaska Inn, which is additional funding for that provider to help support that child in their environment. You change providers, of course, that has to be repeated so that we're sure that you're getting the service you need in that specific environment. But Alaska Inn is a great program that right now is underutilized. So definitely, if you have a child that has some behavioral or physical disabilities, emotional disabilities, definitely something to check into. The different passes, people ask what that is. Parents Achieving Self-Sufficiency is what PASS stands for. PASS 1 is through the DPA or the state offices, the community work services. When you are on temporary assistance, they pay for your child care to help you find a job, get the education you need to get a job. And there's no copay with that. The only thing you pay is if there's an amount over the state rate. Once you've been on that, you're starting to make it on your own, you've got a job you're doing well at, you would transition to PASS 2. PASS 2 is 1 year of receiving child care assistance. You still, at that point, you pay a copay, but if we ever went to a wait list situation, you would have priority over anybody who's in PASS 3. So that's the big benefit of that transition phase. You do pay the copay, but you wouldn't get booted off if we went to a waitlist situation. PASS 3 is anybody who just walks into our office and needs childcare assistance and hasn't been on temporary assistance before or at the current time. And so with the childcare assistance, we screen your application, we look at your income, we look at your work schedule, your children's school or daycare schedule, the hours the daycare is open, lots of different puzzle pieces that have to be put together to determine your eligibility, whether we can cover you for a full month or a part month. And not to get too technical, but a full month would be 17 to 23 days with at least one full-time day, and a full-time day is over 5 hours. At 5 hours, your part day, so it would have to be over 5 hours. We do provide some time in there if you need to drop your kid off and need time to get to work. So you get what's called transportation time. So we can add that in, and that can boost your time up to full time. So there's a lot of different pieces we put together. The application is a lengthy application, but the more information you can give us, the quicker your interview will go. We plan on about an hour for an interview. But the more complete your application is, the more information you turn into us, the quicker we can get through that. This is the front page of the application. It's really important that we get the parent's name, address, both mailing and physical, and the parent's birthday. That seems odd, but the parent's birthday is really important. The next page has all the kids' information, their birthdays. We ask for, race and ethnicity. Not all that stuff is, required. It's optional. Some of it's marked optional. But the other big important thing is that the last page of the application is signed. If it's not signed, we're going to send it back to you. If you're missing any of those other pieces I mentioned, we're going to send it back to you, and we're not going to start your date for your care until we get that completed application back. The interview, like I said, takes about an hour. When we're looking at your income, this is the income and contribution schedule. This looks like a very complicated graph, but really it's pretty easy. You find your family size, you follow it down to where your gross income is, and your gross income is all forms of income. If a child is getting survivor benefits, you're getting SSI. For military families, if they're getting housing allowance, all of those things added together before they take out the taxes. And you follow it down on the chart to that amount, and next to that is what your copay is. On the chart down at the very bottom of each column is the maximum amount that you can make for that size family. The top amount is the state median income. You can make 85% of the state median income, which is all the way at the bottom. We'll go on to the next slide. So here's the regions, the different service areas. You obviously are in the purple area, the Southeast region, which, like I said, we cover here in our office in Fairbanks. The northern is the yellow, so we cover those two large areas. And then there's 3 other offices, Matsu, Kenai, Matsu, Kenai, which is called Coastal, and then the Central, which is the little tiny area is the municipality. Municipality has some rules that are totally different than ours. Unfortunately, it makes things a little complicated, but we try and all follow the same policies and procedures. And we also service the providers in those areas to make sure they have all of their documentation, training, so that they can receive the child care assistance payments from the state. And I'm not sure what's on the next slide. Okay, there's our contact information. We do have a toll-free number. If you dial, but instead of 907-866 in front of that same number, it would be toll-free. And I didn't even think about that when we were making up this presentation, so I apologize for that. But you can send information and main questions to the thread cca@thrivealaska.com, and there is no E in Thrive Alaska. And those come directly to me. And then I give them to the caseworkers as needed. So that's the contact information. And back to you, Rianne.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christy. So just to summarize before we move on, thank you so much for joining us today. We're just summarizing some of the amazing stuff that Thread does to support families across the state. With Christy just finished up talking about the child care assistance program that we have through our office. And then I talked a little bit about our free and confidential childcare resource and referral ways through our website at threadalaska.org or our 1-800 number, which is on the bottom of the screen. So this picture that I just have on the screen right now makes me laugh and also stresses me out a little bit, because this is how I feel as a mom myself. Sometimes this is me. So I just wanted to give a little time to look at, for each of us to look at this picture and just kind of think to yourself, oh my gosh, what is going wrong with this picture? Feel free to put some comments in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and say some things that like alarm you immediately, or just kind of think about it.
I just made a chocolate cake this weekend, and so seeing the kids and their fingers in the cake, I'm just like, oh no, they're doing a lot less messy than I think my daughter would be if she had access to a cake.
Exactly. My thing that I always see every time is the 2 little people on the counter, one in the microwave and one clearly standing up in little slippery ballerina shoes. My like, oh my gosh, fight or flight mode, like get them off the counter, makes me freak out a little bit. Not to mention all the food that's left out on the counters, the dog eating the spaghetti, the crayons on the floor.
My dog wouldn't be eating the spaghetti, he'd be eating the crayons. So, you know.
Another thing somebody could be eating, right?
Yes.
So with this picture, every time I see it, my go-to is to think about everything that's wrong because of my personality, because I always have this running list of things that are going on. And it's because I'm critical of myself, or always thinking about the things that I haven't been my best with. And this year has been hard on parents, it's been hard on educators, it's been hard on every single person. And so now I want us to pause those negative thoughts, and what are the strengths in this picture? What are all the good things that are happening here?
Obviously, the refrigerator and the cabinets must be well stocked.
Yes, lots of food.
Lots of variety of toys.
Mm-hmm. The kids are engaged with each other. They seem happy to, these two little ones on the floor eating the cake. They seem so excited to be together eating this cake. It might be because they're being sneaky away from mom, but boy, do they look like they're having fun together.
They have a whole range of different types of toys, from outdoor toys to art to fine motor things. So a wealth of play materials.
Absolutely.
They're given freedom to be their own person. I mean, the little gal in the ballerina outfit, she isn't made to conform to what she has to wear. She can wear what she wants.
Exactly. Some good independence, right? Like
Yes.
all the kids are engaged in something. They're all interacting with something, and mom has a minute to sit by herself and drink her coffee. I know most of my mornings, my coffee is freezing cold by the time I finally make it to it. And so for her to take a moment and say, this is all okay. Everyone is safe. Everyone is happy. Everyone is engaged in something. I'm going to take my moment to pause and have some me time. And I know that's been really hard for myself, and I know a lot of parents too, is finding that time to decompress, to reflect, to pause, because we really haven't had a lot of alone time over the last year, because we've all been together in our own houses for most of the time, right? We've only been around a few people each time or every day. And so thinking of helping reflect on the fact that even though we can look at this and be like, oh my gosh, what is going wrong with this picture? But really, there's so many good things happening. There's so many strengths for here going on in this picture. And so if you find yourself thinking that like, oh my gosh, I failed again, take a pause and be like, what was the strengths for today? What was something good that happened today, even amongst the chaos? Even if it was that you got a chance to sit down and have a warm cup of coffee, that is a strength. Even if it was at the end of the day, whenever you're putting your little ones to bed, they said, I love you, mommy, or I love you, daddy, that's a huge strength, right? Think of the little things that are happening that are good, and that will help change that mindset. I know for myself with my daughter is actually turning 17 months this week. So I've spent most of her very young days starting out in quarantine. I had just returned back to work whenever we started working from home. And so Vroom is an awesome resource that I've been using ever since she was really, really little. They have resources from ages 0 to 5 that help families create they call them brain building moments, literally with everything, anything and everything in your house, in your car, at the grocery store, in the park, wherever you are. So I'm going to show a quick little clip from Vroom.
Being a dad, it's not easy. Learning how to balance everything.
Can you see this?
You know, I question myself every day if I'm being good to her, if I'm doing the right thing for her, if I'm teaching her the right stuff.
The brain develops most rapidly in the first 5 years of life. During this time, children will form the foundation for lifelong learning.
Vroom showed us that we didn't have to put more on our plate. It's about what we already do, trying to make those moments worth it.
From the moment your baby is born, the interactions you share with them can help strengthen the connections that build their brain. Vroom has worked with scientists and experts to turn this brain-building science into something simple. Something that doesn't change what you do with your child, but how you do it. We call it the 5 brain-building basics. Look, even before babies can talk, they're showing you what they're interested in. Look into their eyes, or at what catches their eye, and begin brain building. Follow. Powerful brain-building moments are created when you let children lead the way, and you follow by responding to their words, sounds, actions, and ideas. Chat. It may not seem like it, but the sounds and gestures young children make are their way of communicating with you. So talk out loud together, even if they can't talk yet, and keep chatting as your children grow, engaging them and learning about the world around them. Take turns. Back and forth interactions between you and your children are one of the most important ways to help their brains develop. So be sure to take turns while you're talking, playing, or exploring with your children. Stretch. Make the moment last longer by building on what your child says or asking follow-up questions that expand your child's thinking and learning. When you stretch the conversation with questions like, "What do you think about that?" or "How does that make you feel?" you're stretching the brain-building moments too. By partnering with families, brands, and community organizations, Vroom is here to help trigger brain-building interactions between you and your child, using the moments you already share together.
You've actually taught your child something when you don't think you're teaching. He's learned something new and he's still learning. When she gets something, it makes me feel like I'm the best mom in the world.
You already have what it takes to be a brain builder. After all, when you look down at them, there's a reason they're already looking up to you. Vroom. Make any moment a brain-building moment.
All right. Like I said, Vroom has so many different resources, amazing opportunities to connect with others. I wanted to show some of their the things that they have on their website, which is really fun to engage with. I have printed some of these off. I actually went to the library here in Anchorage, just recently opened up, and I think, Hannah, is it right that they just opened up the library again in Juneau?
It's been open for,
oh,
well, I haven't been since it's been open, so I'm not exactly sure how long it's been open, but it is open. I think there's a little bit of limitations on capacity, but
great. So I just went, I don't have a printer myself at home, and so I just went to my library and printed these off for myself. So that might be a resource that if you don't have a printer at home that you can connect with, going to your library to print off some of these resources, which is really cool. So there's lots of different content areas that you can look up. So there's some on cooking, on feelings, inside, literacy, math, outside, physical, science, and the world. So I'm going to select feelings, and there's lots of different languages that you can choose from, which is really amazing. So I'm choosing English, and my daughter is between 1 to 2. So I am going to look at the Calm and Connect tip sheet. So there's some really fun activities to do, like this one. So it'll list the ages that you can do this with, which is best for development. So during a quiet moment, sit or lay down near your child face to face and be silent for a few seconds. Watch them. Do they look at you? If they make sounds or smile, make sounds or smile back. There's so much you can say to each other with no words at all. And then they give you the science behind it. So creating a safe and trusting relationship builds a foundation for your child to feel supported as they learn and grow. When you take the time to watch your baby and get to know their style of communicating, you deepen your connection. So this was super important for me as a new mom. Although I've been in the field of early childhood development for a long time, the game changes when you actually have a baby. I know when I used to speak from a provider standpoint, I thought I knew all this information. Though it changes very much so whenever you become a parent yourself. And so this was really helpful for me as I wanted to create deeper connections with her. She wasn't getting the interaction with other people like I originally had thought that she would have or hoped that she would have. And so these different opportunities that that Vroom has created was super helpful for me. So I highly encourage you to check these things out and see what works best for you and your little ones. So let me just share, I can share this. So just kind of wrapping up here.
While you're getting your screen ready, they do have an app for the phone. So I downloaded it and it was super easy. And you can put in your child's age and it'll give you age specific things. So you don't have to choose what age you're looking for.
Yeah.
It looks pretty slick.
It is really slick. It's super easy to use. Thank you for that, Hannah. That's really a great tip too. Yeah, the app is really easy to use. And if you're in the car driving or in the grocery store, it's a super quick, easy way to connect with different activities, which is nice. So before we wrap up today, is there any questions that anybody has? Feel free to put them in the chat or go ahead and unmute yourself and ask questions. All right, well, I'm gonna put up our information, our contact information, and feel free to take a screenshot, and all of this will also be listed on the resource page after the Juneau Early Learning Fair so that you can connect with us again. But again, Christy, thank you, and Hannah, thank you for being on today. And thank you for joining us to learn more about the way that Thread supports families across the state. I hope this has been helpful. Feel free to ask any other questions or reach out to us for any other services that you would like. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Take care.